Tubi has to be one of the best places to watch horror films for free. They have such a wide catalogue and they're always putting new things on there. They also have a lot of underrated films as well, so it's a really good place to find some new horror watches. I thought today I would recommend around 6 horror films on Tubi that I think are worth the watch. I've tried to choose a selection of hidden gems, some films that I definitely don't see enough people talk about. Starting off with a film called Come to Daddy. In this horror comedy, we follow a man who hasn't seen his father in around 30 years until he gets a strange letter from him telling him to come and visit. So that is exactly what he does. He arrives at his dad's house. It's a really beautiful house, but as they start to get to know each other again, he realizes that his dad is a bit of a jerk. His jokes aren't very funny and he gets caught in some lies. Things start to get weirder and weirder as the film progresses. This stars Elijah Wood as our main character, and he does such a good job alongside his father, who is played by Stephen McHattie. This is honestly such a strange film, but it is so entertaining. There are some really awkward moments, there are some really funny moments, and it takes some turns that I honestly didn't expect. It's a bit stupid and over the top at times. It is also a bit gory, which I like as a horror fan. Add this one to your watch list if you just want a wild, fun time. Next is the film Hush, which is a little bit more well known, but I'm going to be talking about the Shush Cut of Hush, which is the one on Tubi. In this film, we follow Maddie, who is a deaf woman, and she ends up having a masked man break into her home. She must devise a plan in able to get away from him. He's definitely using her being deaf to his full advantage, but he underestimates how smart she really is. So in this Shush Cut, a lot of the score is taken out of the film, so it makes for a much more quiet film, and the film is also in black and white. I do think this is actually a much more tense way of watching this film. Obviously, sometimes the score does add to the intensity, but I also think sometimes it's just when things are really quiet and it makes you hold your breath, that's when sometimes it can be the most impactful. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's really important to have representation in horror films, especially because the character Maddie is such a strong and resilient person, but I do just really wish they got a deaf actor to play the role. It's quite a simple and basic home invasion film, but what really makes it stand out from the rest is obviously because Maddie can't hear anything, so it just makes it even more stressful when maybe we can see where he is and she doesn't know, and the fact that she is alone in all of this as well. This is one that I'm definitely going to rewatch soon, especially this black and white version. I think it is absolutely perfect for this time of the year. Next is a film that I kind of put in the category of so bad that it's good, and it's just a cheesy comfort watch for me. I absolutely love horror films that are set over the computer, and that's why my next recommendation is Deadware. This film came out in 2021, but it is set in the late 90s, and we follow 2 friends who are on webcam. Whilst they're on this call with each other, they come across a web game on their browser that may be haunted. I have been saving this film for when I do a video on game horror films, but I just wanted to put it in here now anyway because I'm not sure when I'm going to get round to doing that video. But as someone who loves found footage, and especially found footage done through computer screens, think of films like Unfriended and Searching or Missing. I don't know why, I think they're so fun. I think this technical element just adds a whole nother layer to it, even though this one is extremely cheesy and honestly not the best, but it's still fun. The short runtime also makes this film a lot more palatable, with it being just over an hour. My next recommendation is one that I mentioned in my zombie video. I have spoken about this film a few times, and I think it's a really underrated entry to the zombie subgenre, and that's the film The Battery. In this film, we follow two baseball players, Ben and Mickey, when they end up fighting for survival against an apocalyptic world taken over by zombies. This is another one of those films where the zombie apocalypse element is more of a background element, and we really just focus on these two characters. We focus on their friendship, their building friendship, their relationship with each other. They don't always get on, so things are a little bit of a struggle. Obviously their emotions are high because they just have each other. They feel extremely isolated and lonely. They're absolutely desperate to make contact with other people, other survivors. It's definitely a slow burn as we just watch them navigate their new lives, going to abandoned houses, trying to find people that they once knew, trying to find loved ones, and realizing that there really isn't many other people out there. We don't actually get to see that many zombies, and I feel like that's done intentionally to just show how isolated they are. My next recommendation is one that really does creep me out. It's just the idea of it, and that's the film Headcount. In this film, we follow a group of college students that go on a weekend vacation, but whilst they're there, they accidentally summon a sinister entity that can camouflage itself as one of them. They need to think fast and figure out a way to get rid of this entity before it uses them as part of its ritual. For me, one of the scariest tropes in horror is when something has taken over a normal person and they still look normal, or they look kind of normal, and you don't always know if they're actually who they say they are or who they look like. That's really something that really gets to me. It reminds me of like It Follows and Smile. I think that's why those films really creep me out. If you do like those films, then I would say definitely check this one out because it has that similar really creepy theme to it. It's called Headcount because these friends who go away sometimes split off into groups and they do a head count. And at some moments when they count, there may be one more person than there was before. It definitely makes you want to rewind and see if you've missed something, to realise that there is something else amongst them. This is also quite a rural setting that they've gone on their vacation to. So they're kind of away from any help. They're just kind of stuck there by themselves, and they have to figure it all out by themselves. They have to figure out how to get rid of this supernatural entity. And lastly today is a little bit of a sad one, and that's the film The Good Neighbour. In this film, we follow two teenage boys who decide to play a prank on one of their elderly neighbours because he never seems to be in the best of moods, and they kind of want to get back at him. So when the man goes out, they sneak into his house and set up hidden cameras all around his different rooms, and they start to make a plan to make this man believe that his house is haunted. They start this prank and watch the live footage from inside this man's house, but whilst they're watching this footage, they start to suspect that maybe the man has a sinister secret. So with all of the hidden cameras, it is of course found footage. It's not completely found footage. I'm pretty sure there are some parts of it that aren't found footage, but the parts that are really remind me of films like Paranormal Activity. I really do like when we see cameras from different angles around the house because it's always making me think that we're going to spot something. It's always making me look in the background in case something moves or something like that. With this film, it does take a really unexpected turn. I really wasn't expecting it to go like that when I first watched it. It's definitely not one that I go to rewatch too often, although it is a really good film. It's just a lot. Please do be aware that there are some disturbing themes in this film. For me personally, I do find them a little bit heavy. In terms of found footage films, this is one that rarely gets spoken about from what I see online anyway. So I definitely think it's one to have on your radar because it is really well made and it does have a unique story. It's also quite a short one, being only 98 minutes long. So that's the end of my recommendations today. I have done quite a few of these Tubi videos now, so I will leave them all in a playlist. I'm really excited to see what new horror films come to Tubi next year. I'm hoping for a few fun, underrated ones, Sometimes Tubi originals can be really good, sometimes they're quite bad, but sometimes they are hidden gems, so I'm excited to explore some more of those. Thank you so much for being here as always. If you did want some more videos and to support me further, then you can always join my Patreon. But I also upload lots on here, so I will see you again in another one very soon.